Okay, so I've noticed after the last couple months, my trusty Apple AirPort router is done. It's kind of bit the bullet. So it's been working. If you're in the room, it's fine. But if I'm out in the living room using my phone, I'll drop in and out of Wi-Fi. If I'm working, sometimes I work from home, and so we've got an upstairs office, and I'll be up there, and the connection goes in and out. In fact, I was on a Skype call for work, and I had to kind of start squeaking towards the hallway to get connection. If I'm outside just watering the tree or the garden, it'll drop in and out. So it'll go from Wi-Fi to LTE, Wi-Fi to LTE, and so I got to just switch it over. So I finally decided it was time to get rid of it, and this is what I picked. The new TP-Link Deco, I don't really know how you pronounce it. This wasn't sent to me. I actually paid for this one. It was $178, and I got a $20 off coupon, so $158. And then with my Amazon rewards card, I got an extra 15% reward, so I had a promo for that. So I've never had a shortage of ways to spend money on Amazon. So I thought that was a pretty good deal to get 3 of them. It's supposed to provide, you know, the whole home network coverage. And so what I'm doing right now, all the kids are gone. I've got a quick gap where we can have the Wi-Fi down in the house. So I'm going to get this taken apart, get it set up. We'll kind of go through that setup process. And then I took some bandwidth tests before turning off the old router. I did some tests on it. In some spots I had no coverage. And so let's see if we can kind of compare how this was doing to this one. And, you know, to be fair, this is a single unit. So the one thing I am a little worried about on here is this had more Ethernet ports for me. In the back bedroom, I have a hub for my lights in here, and I didn't want to spend the money on a smart home hub when it's just my kitchen lights need that hub. And also, I have one of the original PS4s, and that is horrible on Wi-Fi currently. I mean, the speeds are atrocious. So I've actually been doing a TP-Link AC power line adapter plugged into here, and so I've been essentially hardwired with my PS4, and so I captured those speeds before and after. So if that doesn't work, if the Wi-Fi doesn't fix the PS4, I am going to have to put a, not on this one, I'll have to put a switch on these to make up for that. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll find out. I think this shows a pretty good comparison of the size I had before and what I'm going to, and I was kind of looking for that pretty equivalent, except now we're going to have them in multiple spots in the house. Again, for the main area, I'm going to have an in and an out, and of course each unit has a power adapter. So this looks pretty straightforward. Shouldn't be too hard. I'll be curious to see if there's any benefit. I don't think there would be for my uses to do this, but you can, for the remote units, you can hardwire some of them. And so for an example where that might be useful is we have our printer actually out here kind of in the middle of the house. It's a wireless printer, but let's say you wanted to make your printer not tied right to your computer. You could then tag your printer to where one of these units are, and that might be a good way to do it, assuming the printer has an Ethernet port.
Okay, so it comes with a quick installation guide in multiple languages that just tells you to download the app. Okay, here's where the magic happens, so to speak. I've got Comcast router coming through, and it'll be important to note for later, I have a 65 megabit speed is all I pay for. I believe these are just dual band, so I really wasn't worried about a tri-band. You can see the Ethernet connections I was doing, and right here, so we'll be removing that, be going with just the TP-Link, and for the most part, I don't think that's blocked too bad. Yeah, there's a TV right above it, but I mean, it should allow the signals and everything to go through the house just fine. So I'm going to go through here real quick, fish down, get the Comcast cable going and get power to it, and then get that app loaded. And there's the Philips bridge hub, whatever you want to call it, for my kitchen light. Okay, so the app that comes with it was pretty easy to use. You go through and download the app, and you pick which unit you have. In this case, for me, it was the M4. And then you power down your modem and everything and hook it all up. I forgot to power down the modem, so it took me a couple times by the time it cycled back to get it to go. It's no big deal. And so you go through, and during the setup process, you will connect your phone to the router's Wi-Fi. That's how it ties into the app. And then you'll name your network. In my case, I named the network home so that it matched my previous network, and so all the devices, especially like my thermostat and such that were using the 2.4 before, that's what I called home, they connected no problem. And so once you got a single unit up, what you would do is you would go through and have it look for its next device, and once it found it, you were good. So then you'd go plug in the next one, tell it I want to add another device, and off you went. And I've been using it for a little bit, and it's a pretty good app. I can monitor which devices are active on the internet. I can give them bandwidth priorities, I can name them, and while I'm not using it right now, there's a pretty extensive child app in there, parental. You can set times of the day that your kids have internet access. You could block certain sites, so if you don't want them watching YouTube, you can block YouTube. You can block people, so if there's an app, or like say the neighbor hacks your Wi-Fi and they're on there, you can kick their devices off. So it seems like a pretty good app. I probably won't be tinkering with it too much right now. The kids, for our use, you know, we kind of monitor what they're doing right now. They're around us most of the time. They're not old enough yet where they just want to go hide in their room. They just seem to always want to be in the living room if they're watching their iPads with us. So we know what they're watching, but at some point, yeah, I'm going to have to turn those on.
Okay, so I stepped outside because I think this is going to be the best way to explain the layout of my house. So that window back there is the office, where I've got the main router. And standing out here the other night, I had no internet connection, dropped off. I've got right now showing full signal. Now I did do a quick speed test. We'll do a full collection here in a second. But I was only pulling speeds that made me think I was at 2.4. Where in the house I was pulling much higher speeds. So I think what's going on is it's automatically switching between 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, and it's just doing whatever it thinks best. Okay, so again, we've got one now there now where we didn't before. The other one's right here. And now in my house, it's 2 stories, obviously. However, where I put the third one, and we'll go show in a second, it isn't in that section. It's actually a bonus room above our garage. So it's kind of on a whole nother section of the house, but I had fantastic signal. Okay, so here is the second one we put in. The white light means it's going good. Got it sitting right next to Alexa. She's not happy. I think I got to retune her back to the network.
I can't connect to your Wi-Fi network.
It's interesting Alexa didn't catch because the Ecobee thermostat did. What I did is I used the same network name as I've always used before. And so I think what it might be with Alexa set up through the app, that it was set up to the Home 5 gigahertz. On the Apple AirPort router, it actually had a name called Home 5G. And now it's just Home. And so I think that's what's doing it. But up here, okay. So up here in the bedroom, kind of my wife's and I's office, depending on what we're doing. That's where I got the third one. And again, past that hallway, as we come out, we're actually over the garage. And so we've got, doing my signals through the house, fantastic coverage. So let's go ahead now. I'm gonna time out, run a bunch of tests, and get back on the computer, put those in a spreadsheet, and let's kind of compare the before and after results. Okay, I just tested the PS4. There's the second router. Here's the PS4, and it's stuck under this cabinet. Now again, I was using a TP-Link AC power line adapter before, and I'll go over those numbers, but I just ran a test Wi-Fi, and those are the best numbers I've ever seen on this unit. So hands down, it's working, it's great. So now I can go do my wire maintenance and get rid of extra devices and wires. So yeah, I added 2 extra routers to the unit, but I'm getting rid of 2 power line adapters, 2 Ethernet cables for my setup in total.
Okay, so at this point I've ran tests both with the previous router at 5G and 2.4. The biggest thing for me to stand out was the PS4. If I was wireless, I'd be 5.6 down, 0.207 up. I mean, those are original like DSL speeds from a long time ago. And so with the AC power line, it'd be 22.5 down and 5.1 up. So it's pretty obvious why I was running the power line for that. So now if I go forward to kind of how I compiled the data, I'll jump to the PS4 first. And so if you look at the wireless, again, it was pretty abysmal. So I'm just comparing the wired, and now with the TP-Link router, I pulled 34.6. That's a 53% increase. And the up was 4.4. That's a 13% decrease. But again, I think the up was more so just the service provider. But I'm not even worried about the up, honestly. It's so nice to now be wireless and be able to, you know, pull some cables out. So in the office, if you look at the numbers, I know I should say one more thing here too. So what I did on here is I took the best numbers of the old router, because since the TP-Link goes through here and it automates whether the 5 gigahertz or 2.4, I just gave it its best numbers. And so I kind of did the same thing with the other router, with the caveat that, you know, when I'm upstairs, there was a low signal, the living room's a medium signal, where now I'm almost a full signal everywhere. So up in the office right here where I'm at, everything was almost negligible, especially the download speeds. I want to focus on those. It was only 0.82% difference. It was in favor of the new one, but I mean, I was right next to the router. I don't really care. So that's kind of a wash. When we go upstairs, that's when things start to get better. The ping was 16% better, even though it's a negative. That's what you want. It was a lower number for the ping. The download speed was 14, almost 15% better. And the upload, again, while it was 11%, I think that was more so just Comcast as my service provider. I think that's what's doing it. In the living room, the ping was actually better on the old one. 21.5, I mean, I'm still fine with 21.5, but if you look at the download speeds, we're almost 20% better. And the upload followed the trend again of kind of being inconsistent. But, you know, I think the download speeds is what I was most concerned about and getting a full signal. Now, when I'm outside watering, a lot of times these new trees, we planted 2 new trees this year, and so I'll drench those a couple times a week, so I'll be standing there for a while. Previously, the 5 gigahertz no way, and the 2.4 would kind of show up, and then I go to run a test and it would all die off. And so I'd have to shut my Wi-Fi off outside, otherwise the phone would go in, out, in, out, in, out, and it wouldn't get anywhere. With the TP-Link, it switched over to 2.4. I was able to verify that. The ping was slower, the download speeds were lower, but they're just fine for playing around on the phone. And they're really no better than LTE, but the difference is by walking outside and staying on the Wi-Fi network, there's no interruption in service. And so I would say, you know, the biggest things I've learned here is the consistency in downloads now in the home is consistently better everywhere. I can now use my Wi-Fi outside at the edge of the property, and also the PS4 night and day difference. So those are really the big takeaways. Okay, and again, you know, Amazon was where I bought them. When I bought them, there was a $20 coupon here that may still be there at times, depending on the promo. I did get the 15% back. I know the coupon's not showing here because I already used it. But yeah, I'll put the link for this in the description below as well of where I got these. So overall, I'm really happy with these. I don't have any complaints. I mean, this drastically improved my home network overnight, and I would do it again wholeheartedly. A lot of times I don't tend to post a review until I've used it for a while. But at the same time, this is one of those things where I was after an immediate performance difference. I wanted something to show up right away, and they did. I got an immediate difference. So I'm very happy about that. And then from here, if they can just keep working the way they are, I'll be really good. So yeah, thanks for checking out the video with me. This one was kind of fun to throw together. I'm happy anytime I get a product that works as described, I'm happy. So thanks for checking this one out. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.